So I think it's the perfect platform for a discussion, deliberations that we are witnessing. And a lot of people are talking about investment advice. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who have even messaged me personally that they want to understand more of RIA thing. And for that, we have veteran from the industry again with us. We have a beautiful interview lined up for you. So the questions, I think many of you that you have with yourself as a question. So Deepak Jain sir is there who would be interviewing Mr. Lovaii Navlakhi with us. Mr. Lovaii is MD and CEO of International Money Matters. And we have a very nice interview. He is one of the successful RIAs in India. Over to you, Deepak sir, and welcome, Mr. Lovaii. Thank you so much.
Morning, Deepak. Thank you, Dimple.
Welcome, Mr. Lovaii. It's a pleasure interacting, and it's always a pleasure learning from what you are practicing currently. So, my first question is, how will you explain your business and services to a client whom you are meeting the first time?
I think, Deepak, this question is answered differently based on where that person came from. But let me for a minute assume that this person has, got a reference from, an existing client of mine. So I would typically tell him, thank you, Deepak, for your time. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Lovaii Navlakhi. I am the Managing Director and CEO of International Money Matters. We basically help individuals to, understand and identify their financial goals and then work out a plan by which we can help achieve them. And all this time we do it by, making sure that we are absolutely transparent. We share with you exactly why we are doing what we are doing, get your buy-in, explain to you so that you understand and only then get into anything that we are suggesting. And our role is not just looking at, investment. It's also to ensure that your risks are protected and essentially have conversations over time. So there is no one sort of formula that we are going to give you at the start of the relationship. And it is a long-term relationship that we look at. Which will help you, get to meeting all your financial goals, and life will happen in between. So we'll have to learn how to maneuver during that time as well.
Great, sir. So one of the questions which is often asked is, how does the RIA model differ from the product distribution model, and what are the challenges and opportunities there?
So I think that, it's good to take reference to the Western, more developed industry. And essentially, there are two standards of relationship that you can have with clients. One is a product suitability type of relationship, and the second is a fiduciary relationship. So in product suitability, which a lot of people will understand, it is identifying, saying, okay, if I was to invest in equity and I wanted to do mutual funds, which mutual funds would I recommend and which product is suitable for investment? And you might even sort of segregate those products into, okay, this product is suitable for someone who's aggressive, this product is suitable for someone who's conservative. But it is in many ways linked to a product and therefore to a sale. When you get to a fiduciary relationship, you are essentially, as an RIA, stepping into the shoes of the client and trying to understand from the client standpoint. The question one needs to ask and pass every time when you are doing a fiduciary relationship is that if you were the client and you had the same circumstances. I think that's the important thing. It's not that exactly what you want or you want to do is what the client will do or vice versa, because the goals, aspirations, experiences might be quite different. But if you were in a similar situation, would you accept, would you give yourself the same advice? I think that's a very crucial question. So I think the difference comes in, let's say, in uncertain times, when a client of ours would come and say, okay, so now I have got this sum of money available with me. What do I need to do with it? We, in many cases, would tell him that, okay, great, you have a housing loan pending. Why don't you repay your loan? because that's probably the better investment for you. It doesn't earn us anything. In fact, it makes sure that we lose, whatever we might have earned by managing that asset, but it is in the client's interest. I think this probably explains the difference between a fiduciary relationship and a suitability type of relationship. And once you get into this transparency as a way of communicating, I think that helps a lot. And the other thing is that you're looking at things as a whole. So you're looking at many other aspects of the interaction. So it's protecting risk, making the investment, looking at the tax, looking at legacy, answering questions that the client might have relating to financial behavior or situations, and say, what do I do in A situation? What do I do in B situation?
Right. So one more question is, how do you acquire new clients? So
I wish there was an easy solution and an easy answer to this, and you pressed a button and okay, here are 10 clients who rolled out. I think that, in the beginning, so let me try and cover both aspects, because there may be people who are listening who are just starting, and then there are people who have been there in business for a while. See, when you're starting off, it's all driven by your sort of conviction about who you are and what you do. And I think it's very important, really very important, to identify who really is your client. Everybody cannot be your client. It cannot be everybody who walks through the door, I'm going to, do investments for that person. So, learning to say no to business early on is crucial. I mean, very early on for me, one of the things that I decided was, when people are saying, if I have 1 crore or I have 10 lakh, can I invest? I said, I don't need your money, I need your time. Can you give me half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour to allow me to try and understand who you are and what you require, number one. For you to then also understand who am I and what am I offering, and is there a match? And I think the third important thing was, give me like every piece of information. Only then I can provide you advice. I don't mind that you have a relationship with XYZ banker or some other distributor. That's fine. But you need one person who needs to collate all this information. And when you say I'm, identifying or distributing my assets through 3 different intermediaries, and thinking that that is diversification. Sometimes when you looked at the portfolios from the 3, it was all the same. So there is really no diversification other than, one person invested on 4th of March and one did 5th of March, and you then compare and say on 12th March that, oh, which one is better? I mean, not the right way of dealing with things. So it was very important to ensure that happens. So once you do that, I think then word of mouth spreads, because then your client says that, yes, I identify this person is doing X or he doesn't do Y. And the type of references that you get, and references is definitely the largest source of business. The references you get will fit into your type of profile. So I think it's important to be able to identify that. So in our case, now that we have been established for a while, it's been 2 decades of doing this business. You do get a lot of people, A, from references, B, from some of the media, interviews, etc., that happen, some bit from whatever we do by way of social media promotion. And then we do quite a bit of work with corporates in the financial wellness space. And therefore, through that route, by creating, awareness and literacy, you might end up getting a few more clients to that route. So these are sort of different ways, but I think it's establishing your niche area, identifying the type of client, and then making sure you communicate that so people also know it's not a well-kept secret that, oh, I only deal with NRIs or I only deal with people who are 45 and have 2 kids, that's my segment. So pick a segment and say, this is my specialization. Yes, you might have clients outside this also, but get known for that, and I think you will get clients that.
So, question to this is, how do you define your ideal client? You are saying define your ideal client, focus on them, and build your business around them. So, how do you define your ideal client?
I think it's two ways. I think one, obviously, if you are an individual and you're starting off, what type of client are you comfortable with? So normally you will tend to look at people, where it's probably easy for you to interact and communicate. So let's say and I'm not, but let's say I'm an engineer and I've been in automobile industry for a while, and I've had experience there, and now I'm getting into this space. It is very likely that my initial set of clients will be people who may be related with that industry, because apart from managing investment and being transactional, there is a lot more to the relationship that you bring to the table. So to be able to have conversation, there is one. I think the other thing is, what's your area of competency? And if we realize, for example, that when we are sort of getting clients today, and our sort of biggest expertise will come if there is a real holistic approach to the investment. And if we feel that, yeah, for us, we want clients who are also diversified and invested into international investing. They are also diversified into AIFs. And let's say minimum amounts are $100,000. Then in a single investment, then if 75 lakh is to go into one investment, unless the client has the capability of investing 7.5, 8 crore, I might end up being very highly skewed into one single product, one single manager. So I want to protect risk. I mean, I see ourselves as primarily not people who are enabling clients to grow wealth, but primarily, who are helping clients to protect risk. The wealth follows, but it's a number two objective. It's not the number one objective. And therefore, those, larger value clients of that potential might be one area. The other for us could be, because we have expertise in cross-border financial planning, then we want people where some family member is, in another country, is currently studying or working, or is likely to study and work. And therefore, there will be a need to understand taxation, currency movement, inheritance tax, and, whole bunch of things. Then you could say, okay, that's another segment that you are targeting.
Right, right. So, a question which comes from here is, suppose there's a client who wants to take a risky investment decision which you are not comfortable him taking. So how would you dissuade such a client from doing that?
So my first answer is, you might not even need to dissuade. I think what happens with each one of us, we come with our own inherent biases. And we think, X investment is great, Y is terrible, because of whatever either that has been told to us, and that's what we've heard, or that's what we've experienced. And I think that's very important, to leave aside your own bias, number one. I think number two, if let us say you've done a risk profile, you've understood the client goals, and even then it does seem like this client is wanting to step out of line. I mean, I do take a lot of effort to try and communicate to the client that what you are doing is risky, is outside your boundary. It's like playing a football match, but saying, no, I'll also play outside the tram line and I'll still kick the ball, and it won't be, it won't be a throw-in. You can't play football like that. So then, if even after that, if the client does feel that, no, I still want to take that investment, then we do take a sign off from the client that I've understood the risk, and despite advice to the contrary, it's like saying, I want to be discharged from the hospital, even though doctor is saying that stay there, then you have to sign off, right? So that sign off we do take.
Right, right. So one more question, and I'm very passionate about it. What's the role of estate planning today for clients or each social level? So generally people think it's only for HNIs or other people? What's the importance of estate planning and wealth transfer planning?
I think it's very big. And in a way, the pandemic has certainly helped bringing this to notice. A lot of people have faced, sudden deaths within the family and then realize, oh no, even though the person did not have a lot of assets, but they did have, I mean, value. But they did have investment in a bank, in a mutual fund. They had some insurance. I mean, various things that they had, and then it's a struggle to get that. So we do talk to our clients that apart from creating wealth in your lifetime, how is it going to pass on? What happens if there is an emergency, and what happens if you live your life and then you want to pass on also? What is the sort of plan? And some of this, as you are the expert in this area, Deepak, but some of this is also to help the client plan, saying some of this you can do in your lifetime. You don't need to do everything post your lifetime, but at least have a plan and a way by which the transfer happens. And in this day and age, with a lot of family members actually moving abroad, and sometimes they go for no, they are only going for studies, or only 2 years they will work, and then they sort of stay put there. A lot of issues do come up. So understanding those and having conversations is very, very crucial. I think there is um, nothing that I can say to say that, oh, it's not important. Let's just focus on creating wealth. I think the moment somebody has an asset, they need an estate plan. So if you are a parent and you are making sure that your child who's minor, you are investing, and now at 18 you convert the status to major, then that child needs an estate plan. That's the way I look at it.
Right, right. So true. So, one of the ways of enhancing our business as advisors is having good team members. So, what is your advice to advisors who are want to hire people, who want to move more to the strategic management of business than the operational and maybe the front end management? So, what do you see in a person before hiring, and how should they go about it?
Uh, so first and foremost, I think for those who have not hired and want to hire, be ready that you're willing to let go. You can't be taking all the decisions, particularly if you want to scale and grow. You will have to delegate and have team members do it. I think you need to define in your business what you're looking for from your team members. We try to ensure a few things. We say that, person must have some awareness about finance, must demonstrate, high levels of integrity, and certainly have certain initiative and willingness to learn, and to, energy levels is what is important. I keep telling people in interviews that while we are a 20-year-old organization, we want you, when you join us, to have the mindset of a startup. And we like to work like that so that we can keep changing and adapting to changing, whether it is regulation, markets, type of clients, pricing, whatever it is. So I think that's very, very crucial and important.
Right, right. I think I am up with my time. Dimple, can we have some audience questions?
Yes, sir. So we can have questions, please. And as you're talking about wealth protection and estate planning, people are asking, what type of product do you suggest for protection of wealth? So I know this is a very lengthy topic, and it sums up all of estate planning, not possible to answer. But if you can throw some light on wealth protection again, as a lot of people want to know more about it.
Yeah, so I suppose, the plain simple thing starts off with, the life insurance piece that people need to have in place in case, they are the earning member and the family is dependent on them. Subsequent to that, certainly everyone who has an asset needs to have a will in place, and whatever the requirements of the will are, those need to get fulfilled. In more sort of, I would say, complex cases. And when I say complex, let's say I have had a child very late in life. So I know that I may not be there when the child is actually needing my support financially, etc. And I don't want to give a large chunk of money at one go to that person. I have special needs children, or I'm part of a very large family, and we're very protective about the asset, or I want to control the life of my dependents even after I am not there, then I would look at a trust to be formed. And again, if there are cross-border situations, some of the things you have businesses, etc., then you need a tax specialist and a lawyer together to work things out. Uh, we work with a lot of professionals to collaborate because we don't think we have, individually we cannot have all the expertise. And when I say individually, including with the team members and all, then we outsource some of that and work with professionals.
Thank you so much, Lovaii sir. I think you have greatly answered to some extent because it's a complete topic again. We also have a program for a lot of viewers who are asking about estate planning and wealth protection. We have a complete course on estate planning, which is called Chartered Trust and Estate Planner. Through that subject knowledge, we basically try to give you a structured learning on succession laws, estate planning, all the tools of estate planning. And sir just rightly said that you need to have insurance in place. We have a beautiful topic coming up later also, which is especially on insurance focused. And then sir just mentioned about writing a will as well. How important will is, it's very important, we know that. And especially sir, during last 2 years, which have been really dramatic for all of us, and there had a lot of been losses in the families also. So my condolences to those families as well. And today in this forum, in this day two, second half, we will also be able to create will with Deepak sir. So Deepak sir will be taking a great session on about writing a will, and will also help people to write their will today. So it starts with today, it's never tomorrow. And I think a good thing starts now. So in the second half of day two, people will be able to create their own will because they are scared to go to lawyers. They do not have time. They're apprehensive. They have so many questions with them. So we will try to do a small justice to today's topic, creating a will. I request all the participants, sir, it is almost 3,300 people right now in the session. I request everyone, please benefit from this session because this is one of its kind and you are getting this opportunity to write your own will. So thank you, Lovaii sir, for being here on the forum, accepting our invitation on a short notice. Thank you so much for making it possible.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you very much. And I would also tell that I have attended Deepak sessions on these in the past, and you should not miss this for sure.
Thank you so much. Lovaii sir, before leaving, one question, can I please put one question?
Sure.
Since you're in the same space. So somebody is asking, if they're already registered as a distributor, is it possible to change to an advisor? What will happen to the existing clients who are investing in regular funds?
Yeah, so from what I know of the regulation, that there is the grandfathering or the assets which are already existing from the client can continue the way it is, particularly if you are in a corporate structure. If you are in an individual structure, then you have to figure out a way to transfer those assets. You will probably need to speak to your clients that individually. The way the regulation is that from an individual family, you can either earn fee or you can earn commission. So the only thing they've allowed the corporate structures to do is if there is a individual who is paying a fee but he has an existing asset on which there is a commission, there is no force for him to exit that and move to from regular to direct plan. As you are aware, when you do that, there is a capital gain impact for the client. So SEBI has said that that is not force, but any new asset that is coming in. So you can't add new asset obviously in the same scheme. So you'll have to do a direct plan if you're doing mutual fund or if you're doing a PMS, same way, get into a direct plan version of it. You can then continue. So I don't think it's as, I'll lose all my earning from tomorrow morning. Obviously, you need to plan this through. You don't, again, wake up today and say, tomorrow morning I'm becoming an RIA. So plan this. There are enough people within the RIA community. I'm part of a body called ARIA, which helps RIAs if they want to transition into an RIA mode. So it's aria.org.in. And surely there's help. I mean, the whole community is there to help. My quick personal one line is that I don't think there is A is better or B is better. I think the country requires all types of intermediaries. And different clients will pick different intermediaries. It's not that, if I get into this, I'm losing out or I'm gaining. It's the type of client you're dealing.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. Because we are talking about transforming financial services industry, and that is our theme of today's convention. So, is fee-based model, the next big thing in India, or commission model is here to stay?
You're asking me this question. I think, I like the fee-based model. I heard previous conversations about India, whether ready to pay fee or not. We've had clients paying fee to us from 2003. So I don't think that India is not ready. Obviously, when someone is paying a fee to you, they want value. So they are paying a cost. The value should be more than the fee they are paying. And you can figure out how you can demonstrate value, whether it's by advice, handholding, returns, telling you where not to invest and save you a downfall. I mean, there are various things that you can demonstrate there. What I like about the fee model versus the commission model is the fee model is within my control. Whereas the commission model is going to be, what the manufacturer is doing, what is happening with regulation. Suddenly, you can't earn so much, it is now cut. Now you're wondering now, how do I manage? Whereas the fee model is your relationship with the client. Yes, you have to go collect it year on year. It is a task, but we've sort of figured out a way now. And we frankly we have very, very little bad debts or provisions, frankly. Everybody pays, and including in tough years. Yeah, it takes a little longer, etc. But yeah, I like the RI model, so I'm here for that reason.
Thank you so much, sir, interacting with us and speaking to us on, again, a lot of questions what people want to know. On behalf of Fairfirm India, I would like to thank you for being present on this forum. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you.
Reach out today and let's do it professionally.